Today we're gonna do something special. We're gonna do something extraordinary, something that we haven't done for quite some time. I was part of this wonderful thing. Benny Bob, thank you so much for the visa, buddy. Pleasure to have you on board, so really appreciate it. I was part of the DHL Ultimate Team, which was a concept where DHL, in I guess cooperation with ESL and DHL, of course, picked a team that won the full, I guess, team experience. They got their own logo, they got their own team jerseys, and they got now an hour coaching session with me. And that hour coaching session, we are going to stream live here on the channel while we speak to the guys from Team Horizon. It's a team from Malaysia, and I just met the guys a couple of moments ago, and they seem super cool. So I hope you guys in the chat are going to be nice to them as well. The level is, you know, decent, I'd say. It's not top level. They're not professionals, but they are good Counter-Strike players. So it should be very fun. All right, so can any of you guys give me and I guess the rest of the chat a little introduction? This is a Face-It game, I assume. You're playing against just random guys, or how?
Yeah. So we're in a 4-stack because again he couldn't make it to the game.
Sure.
So what happened is we queued as a 4-stack in Face It against those other random players, and this is just a game that we've recorded.
Okay, cool. And I guess we shouldn't spoil it in regards to whether you're winning or not. I can see the demo is only 30 minutes long, so I guess it's a fast game.
Fast wins or fast wins, you never know.
You never know. All right, you're starting on the CT side, and we may as well get through it. I'm just gonna try to run through the demo, you know, and see what happens, and then we can take it. If you have any questions while we go along, or if I don't know if any of you guys remember a specific round or a specific situation where you'd like me to look at your point of view, just let me know, and we can pause and jump to whoever of you request that. Okay? So feel free to just raise your voice and let me know.
Oh my god. Why?
Hey, holy moly.
One low. He's shot.
Backside.
Low.
Bench.
One on one. Oh no.
Purple, bro. Why?
Okay, unlucky. I can I can hear there's some communication in regards to you guys leaving the B bomb site. Yeah. If I may give you an advice, and that goes for the map of Mirage, it's very tough for the USPs to retake B bomb side. So once you maybe get, I saw you got the first kill, right? But even though you get the first kill, it's still easy for the Glocks as soon as you move close to them to fight their way back into the round. So be very careful. I don't necessarily know what happened exactly right here, but even though you hear something in middle or hear something on A, be careful never rotating away from the B bomb side. It's much better to do a B stack as an example, to place 2 or 3 players on B and then try for a retake on A if they were to go A, than vice versa, because it's much harder to retake the B bomb side. So just as a general thought, always be a little bit more careful leaving B bomb side, and you know, be a little bit more persistent defending the B bomb side, as you can always retake A. That's much easier. Needless to say, of course, but Cranium forcing while your teammates is not forcing is never a good idea.
He's low.
I guess unless he kills everyone.
They can kill on Twitch.
1 HP, 1 HP. Tetris. Tetris.
Stand.
Amen and palace.
Holy moly, you actually won that. Okay. Well, I was just about to say, there's nothing you can really do in a round like this when you don't buy up, you don't have armor, you don't have any grenades. Sick round. I mean, you did what you could. I guess the best advice in this one is just to fight together as much as possible, and that's exactly what you did. You both fought at the same time, so you caught him off guard.
Yeah, man.
I have a feeling you guys are gonna win this game fast. Okay, now I was happy about your pistol round, Shade, but that right there, buddy, you can never do. You can never do. If you expose yourself in window against pistols, you are of course very exposed. And the thought process right here I'm gonna give to you is that you can of course get a kill in window and you can, you know, win the duel in window. But if you die right here, you give up so much space to the other team, where they can now have mid control, they can go up connected, they can go towards short. And in theory, when you think about it, the terrorists, they can't really plant the bomb in middle, right? So even if you give them middle, it's not the end of the world for you. So in terms of like, you're risking more than you stand to win, if you know what I mean. Obviously, I know it myself. I do it all the time as well. Getting kills is nice, but you gotta be super careful, especially when you have an AWP, by fighting in a window. Because if you die, then you open up the map for the rest of the guys, and that can be dangerous.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I was choking pretty hard in this game, if I remember right, until
okay.
the late half.
Well, all good. I mean, the games where you play bad, are the games where you learn the most, actually. So that's good.
Bringing the clutch up.
Yeah. That's a nice clutch this way. Sorry, a nice flank from you, Raced. You gain map control and you get in from behind. It's super good. You just basically lock him in the middle,
Yeah.
Don't know why you're buying the P90, but that's up to you.
I don't know. I'm different with it.
Yeah. Well, it's a terrible weapon, but in the right hands, I guess. Okay, one thing I just noticed here in terms of your communication, both of you have a habit of saying A or B, as it's either going to be A or it's going to be B. A general rule a lot of pro players learn early on is always number the players you see. So let's say that you're playing in middle here and you see 2 guys walk out middle. You always say 2 out middle, just so your teammates are aware that, okay, there's only 2 guys spotted middle, which means that there could still be 3 towards B or 3 towards A. If you just say, out middle, then your teammates will instantly think, okay, there could be 4 out middle or 5 out middle. They have no idea, right? So if you have a way of always, putting on numbers on how many you see, same goes on whenever someone is faking a rush, when you say B rush, then everyone is going to think it's towards B, and all the players on A is going to leave towards B fast. But if you only heard 2 on B, and they're going to come 3 out of A palace, that way you avoid, getting faked like that. So a general rule for a lot of players is, if you can, it's not always possible, but if you can put numbers to how many players you hear or see wherever you're spotting, that's going to help your teammates a lot in terms of, are they going to rotate or should we stay?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Should probably do that more.
So you can't be sure, but if you can't put numbers on, it's good. Like this guy is just saying A. Does it mean all 5A or 2A or whatever? In this case, all 5 are A, right? But you don't know.
Oh, 1-1 Palace.
One under.
One coming.
Default.
Hope you guys are learning something from this as well in the Twitch chat. I think it's kind of cool to walk through a demo like this.
Corneta.
Alright, let's see the clutcher without a P90. Nice. Well played. Well played. You could have fallen back, and give him the space right here, but I like the fact you're just holding the angle so he walks into your crosshair instead of you starting to move and then maybe he times you. So super well played. I think that's whenever you're in a 1v1, if you can force the opponent to run into your crosshair without you moving yourself, you stand a much better chance of winning. And that's exactly what he did, so that was nice.
I'm just gonna have trouble sleeping after watching our plays.
Honestly, so far so good. I mean, everyone makes mistakes, but I expected more mistakes coming from you guys. You're playing well. You're playing well. Okay, this is a super great example. When you have a guy pushed all the way into T-spawn and he says that A ramp is clear and A palace is clear, you gotta start thinking about how to rotate towards the B bomb side. Although your mate is in T-spawn right now, it can only be middle, or most likely it's going to be the B bomb side. You only have 1 guy defending the B bomb side right now. You're leaving Josh alone to defend it. So at this point, Rice, you probably have to fall back from short right here, go back into the B bomb side. I'd prefer you, Shadecross, to probably do the rotation in towards kitchen, so we have 3 guys over here, and then this guy can be the guy watching middle. Again, the theory behind this is that even if they were to go out top middle, they're late in the round, they can't plant the bomb in middle, right? They can't win the round in middle. So even though you give the middle, it's okay. You don't lose anything by that. But if you give them the B bomb side for free, you risk losing the entire round. So when you have a guy making this flank, when you have a guy, doing an aggressive play like this, gaining a lot of information, you gotta start thinking about, okay, where's our weaknesses now, right? They're most likely coming towards B. We only have 1 guy B, so I'm gonna make the rotation going back B. I'm gonna make the rotation going towards B, and then you have everything on a lockdown, sort of, right? That's sort of like next level, but that's how you think in the middle of a round. When you have a guy getting all this information, you gotta, I guess, react according to that information. All right, let's see. Nice, Josh. I like the way you're just holding your position, so your teammates always know where you're at, right? You're not taking too many chances or wide peeking too much. That's super well. When you play A like that, you have to be good at knowing when to take the fight in a way, and you did that fine right here.
What the fuck is that gun?
Thanks.
Cash should be dropping 20 frags and a half. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, I can't wait to see this. There you go.
Carry on the bus.
No! Unlucky. Worth the try for sure.
Going A.
Nice recovery.
City, city. One HP.
Nice. Yeah, if there's anything I'd give an advice to right here, it'd be like when you're in a 1v1 or 2v2 or 3v3, just like as a general line of thought. I saw here, for an example, neither of you knew where the last guy was at when it was a 1v2, and neither of you asked the other guy, where's he at? So if you can establish, if in a 2v2, okay, where the two players at? I see you, Hen, you came from B apps, you came from middle, so you had no idea of knowing where they were at, right? You gotta ask your teammate, hey, where they at? Where do I need to focus? What should I be ready for? And then your teammate should respond to you. In this instance, it's you, Shade, saying, I don't know, they could be anywhere. And all of a sudden, you're aware of the fact that they can be anywhere, so you're a little bit more hesitant to make mistakes or to expose yourself too much. But if you don't have that communication, you're just running in blindly in a way, and none of you are, exactly aware of what's going on. So the more you can communicate with each other in a 2v2, in a 1v2, etc., the better your odds are of not, making a massive fuck up. You guys are killing it, man. Absolutely killing it, man. Ooh. You guys are just rushing it down right now. I guess when you're leading 14-3, it's hard not to, right?
You have that confidence boost.
Yeah, exactly. And you should, honestly, You're allowed to do whatever the hell you want when you're in a scenario like this.
Ladder room.
Comes the P90. Love it. And another one. You're pretty good with it. Not gonna lie. You should continue to play with it. Definitely better than me with that shit weapon.
No kidding, man. This guy was like MG lobbies clapping people with P90.
He's dead. My god. Nice.
Under, I think I saw a bit gun barrel.
That was good information, though. That's it.
I'm hiding.
Yeah, sure.
City.
Got red eye. She just wanted that kill.
Yeah.
I like it. You guys in the chat can type !DHL if you want to read more about it. It was the chosen team from the DHL challenge we did earlier last year.
Nice one. Thanks for you guys.
GG's, bro. GG's.
Nice. That's a good game. Good game.
Hey. I
Good
don't know. We
game.
should have probably kept trying for harder games because, I mean, when you steamroll someone, you can't. Not that say you can't. You learn less from it.
That's very true. You usually learn more from a loss than you do from a win.
Right.
I saw in the beginning of the game you were struggling a little bit on B. And usually what happened was that whenever they rushed B, you got caught off guard. One of the rounds you were standing with a Molotov right here. And when you heard they rushed you, you threw this Molotov. Now if you follow that Molotov, you see that lands very deep. So the second you hear them rush is around when they're in this area. Then you throw the Molotov. But by you throwing the Molotov, they're already past it, right? So it becomes insufficient in a way. It maybe catches one guy at best, but you let 4 guys go through. So instead of throwing a deep Molotov like this, you would much rather just throw a Molotov like this. That's gonna land right here in the middle of the apartments. So if they want to force through it, right, they have to walk through it all before they jump out the window. This smoke I'm gonna show you now is super effective to stop a B rush, or at least make it tougher for them. So let's say that you have a guy spawning down here with a good B spawn. You just go straight towards B and hold B. You have another guy spawning over here, and what you're gonna do is that you're gonna run into this corner. Then you're gonna aim right here, where I'm aiming. Then you jump throw, and if I don't fuck it up, it should be a smoke that is landing in deep B-apps straight away from the round. There you go. So it's gonna be here. Basically, it takes, as you can see, take 9 seconds for it to land. So in 9 seconds, the terrorists will be around this position. So if they want to rush B, they have to go through this smoke. Now, if you throw that smoke, and then you have another guy, instantly when he comes over here, throwing a Molotov like this, you can see how it looks from the T's perspective. If they do decide to rush through the smoke, they face a Molotov right here, and they can't go through it. If they do, they're down to 20 HP. So it's a very effective way of stopping a B rush. Usually what happens when people see the smoke, they'll be afraid to go through it, so it always stops here. But if you're playing against anyone who's, I guess, dumb enough to go through the smoke or willing to take the risk, then if you put a Molotov behind it, then there's nowhere they can go. And whoever has the best spawn outside of the B player throws the smoke, and then the best B player or the B player spawn throws the Molotov instantly whenever you get over here. Different ways of doing it, of course, as well. But it just has to be a very basic deep Molotov like this. Then there's nowhere they can go right. They're just going to be stuck here no matter what. On A, you were a little bit hesitant to when to Molotov and when to smoke. There's two different ways of playing A. You did a lot of the time where you're just standing behind firebox and you're playing it defensively. That's totally fine. No problem at all, especially when you get flashed or if they start to smoke. You can always hide behind this box, you know, throw a flash like this as an example, and then peek out on your own flash. That's a way of doing it. You can also be aggressive, and that's a nice way of playing A as well, just to annoy your opponents a little bit. So this is a nade combination that I used a lot when I was playing, actually, and it still works wonders. So if you come up from CT spawn, and you just smoke instantly like this, you smoke a smoke where there's a slight gap to the right side right here. So you can just sit and hold. So if they, again, want to walk out right here, okay, they hear the smoke. Often players will just walk out like this. You actually have a gap right here, and before they start to spot the gap, they don't see it right here, right? They first see the gap when they're over here, and you already killed them by them. So that's a nice way of doing it. Doing this, it's just an example. You can find your own if you want to, but if you go into this corner, and you aim in the middle of this little square, just like this, you throw a perfect smoke for ramp. So no gap. Now if you do that smoke, and you then Molotov behind it, look how it looks for the terrorist point of view. The only place the terrorist can be right now is standing up here or standing over in this corner. So you basically box him in, right? So if you throw that smoke and you throw a deep Molotov, you're boxing in the guy in pit right here. What you do is then, let's just pretend that there's a smoke again. There's a Molotov right here. Then when you get doing that, you throw the Molotov, you get close, you do a right hand flash like this, and you just walk through the smoke. The only thing you have to clear is this position and this position, because he can't be down here. He's obviously not in the smoke. So you just clear this one and this one. And often you'll find a guy standing here completely blind, not knowing what's going on. Or you'll find a guy standing here completely blind, not knowing what's going on. It's something that takes a bit of practice to do, of course. So you got to try it maybe 5, 10, 15 times before you completely nail it.
Yeah,
but
get a nade in, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole thought process is that you go instantly in here. You just run over here. Molotov deep down like this. Start walking like this. Do a right hand flash like this. Then you walk through it and you just clear this position, and you don't have to worry about this because that's gonna be covered for 5 seconds. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for Mirage. Any questions in general? Feel free to ask, and then I'll answer, of course.
Yeah, I was asking when you go for like big competition, right?
Yeah.
Do you get nervous and then your crosshair kind of like whiff a little bit?
Yeah. It's almost impossible not to be nervous. So it's not about, it's not a bad thing to be nervous. You shouldn't be afraid of being nervous. You should just find a way to handle how you act when you're nervous, if that makes sense. Even the best players out there in the world, they get nervous on a big stage when they're playing a major final. You feel like the tingling in your hand, and that will affect your aim a little bit. But the best players, they have that feeling for a couple of rounds, and then they forget all about it. They get so focused on the task at hand that it's not really a problem for them. So I think a general misconception is that it's not a bad thing to be nervous. That just means that you care a lot or you're really much into it. But you got to be able to handle your emotions, I guess, when you're nervous.
Well, a few months ago, I saw that you were doing a video with Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, with how do you say this? Hunyangye.
Yeah, I think that's good. You pronounce it better than I could.
Would you think of like doing more stuff like that, like instead of just playing like Face It and like regular games? Would you do more of these like content type of games?
Yeah, I probably should, and I probably will. It's fun, and tough. Super tough to just play, an entire game with a P250. But it's fun, and I would definitely like to try it some more. Maybe we should take I don't know if you guys can at some point. Not today, but tomorrow or some other day, we could do a matchmaking game where you can play all the P90 you want, but I can only play with P250 or something like that. That could be fun.
You should totally do that.
So the jerseys you guys are wearing right now, those were the jerseys that you were created by the DHL, yeah?
Yeah, I think Bright Partnerships, they were the one who created this design. It's incredible, honestly.
Yeah, it looks super super sick. There's a crosshair on it. I'm a little bit disappointed. There should have been a P90 or something. You know, there should have been like something to manifest that in a way. That would have been great. But the GSS looks super super cool. Yeah. Any other questions before we shut it down? Sorry if I wasted it took an hour and a half, but I guess you guys are okay with that.
That's great. I think we learned a lot from
think,
this.
Is there any
Um,
warm-up routine you recommend, especially for one person? Like if a particular player doesn't play for a long time, just anything that you can just bang out just for a good warm-up right before a game starts.
Yeah, I use CSGO hub a lot. So some players, they just jump on the server and they're just so natural skilled that they just kill it, you know. Whereas I like to always warm up for half an hour to an hour before the game. So I guess it's something where you find a way to get comfortable. Just jumping into a server and just, you know, killing bots like I'm doing right now is a great way of, you know, just getting to place your aim, you know, constantly move around and get a feel for it. Especially if you're playing at a LAN event or if you're playing at a friend's house or whatever. Like when you're sitting in a new chair or at a new desk where the height is a little bit different, you just gotta get, you know, used to it. So jumping in, just killing bots like this is super nice. The cool thing about CSGO Hub is that they have this rush mode where you make the bots rush against you. Don't know if you tried it before. Whereas you basically have to kill the bots before they get to you. And if you don't, you lose. The way I'm doing it right now. Just gonna show you on stream. So that's a great way of warming up. One thing that's underrated, I don't know how much you guys are doing this, but I like movement a lot, and I use movement a lot in my games, you know, especially on Mirage. You jump out window, you jump up fast in Palace, as I showed you guys. So I always warm up my movement as well. And that's why I love CSGO Hub, because it has elements from all the different game modes, right? So jumping in and jumping around like this and getting your movement going and getting to feel, you know, fluid in a way. It can win you certain rounds or certain scenarios depending on what map you're playing. So I always like to do 5-10 minutes of aim warm-up, you know, where I kill the bots or whatever, and then I jump in and do a bit of movement warm-up, and when I've done that, then I'm ready for the game, sort of. Some players also like to play deathmatch. I don't know how much you guys do that, but if you have a good deathmatch server in your region, then just jumping in and basically playing as many duels as possible before a game is also a good way of doing it.
Thank you so much.
All good.
Sorry to take up so much of your time.
No worries. I see you have a little brother behind you. Is that you, Yeezy? If he wants a sign as well, just let me know.
Is he here?
Yeah, of course. Just leave your Steam profile links in the chat, and I'll give you guys a sign. Yeah.
You look so happy.
Nice. I'll leave you guys to it. I hope you guys learned something, and any questions, just feel free to DM me on Discord.
All right. Thanks so much, man.
We had a really great time.
You too. Have a good one.
Have a great stream.
Thank you. Thank you.
too. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
See you.
There we go. That was nice. That was super, super nice. Those guys were extremely friendly. That was a very intense session. I never done it before, but I hope you guys liked it.